Welcome to Company Showcase, an advertising feature on HowStreet.com.
I'm Jim Goddard. I'm speaking with Larry Reaugh, President and CEO of American Manganese. Larry, I imagine, as you always do, you have some good news for us.
Well, I've got some great news, Jim. We have finally hit the mainstream in the recycling news. And I know a lot of my investors have been, I guess you might call it peaked about why isn't anybody jumping all over this. Well, I have to tell you that when I look at my investors and I think, okay, you're contrarians. You see something that's not, in the mainstream yet, but you see the potential of it, and you think others should. But they don't necessarily see that until certain events happen. And one of those events is when the mainstream news starts to pick you up. You become an item of interest, or you become somebody that they feel secure in talking about. And that just happened to us about 11 o'clock this morning. Reuters, Thomson Reuters out of London, put out a news article on recycling, and we were one of the ones featured in there. They've got some quotes from me and everything else in there, so we're finally making the mainstream. That means that people will start to take us more seriously, and that's just the beginning. And I couldn't be happier that because sometimes these large news outlets like Bloomberg or Reuters will contact you and get some information from you, and then you never hear anything again. But in this particular case, they went ahead and they wrote up the article. And the real point of the whole thing is that now we're not the only ones out there that are beating the drum. It's mainstream commentators that are beating the drum on recycling. How are they beating that drum? Well, they're beginning to recognize that you're not a closed-circuit solution to the environment if you're not doing something with the batteries at the end of the day besides burning them, burying them, and not reclaiming the cathode material. Because you can, first off, if you reclaim the cathode material, that means less new mines that have to come on stream. And we can reclaim 100% of the cathode material, including lithium, as of prior to filing our final patent last week. So we're getting into the mainstream. We've been written up in the last 2 weeks by also another recycling news outlet out of, I think it was out of Oregon, and now out of London. And we've been written up before, and sporadically, but now it's starting to happen. And I think the shareholders can, breathe a sigh of relief. We're not the only ones out there beating the drum anymore. And I kept a lot of transparency in our company so that people would see that we were progressing, that we actually progressed over a period of a year and a half. And yet everything that we say out there is only what gets reported to us from the independent research firm Cometco. So I see this as a huge plus. I mean, Thomson Reuters is read financially worldwide, and for them to mention us, a penny stock company out of BC, is big time for us. So I think that's a heck of a way to close off the week. Certainly, everybody's looking at the stock probably down a half a penny today and wonder why it'd be down a half a penny a day when Reuters came out with that article. Well, you got to go back and you have to remember about the predator trading that I wrote up a long time ago so that everybody be educated on it. And if you look, you'll see that 2/3 of the volume, or more than 2/3 of the volume, was TD. And it's either a large shareholder getting out who knocks out the bids, but that's not the way investors play the market. They usually try to get the best price they can. They don't try to drive the price down. And so that to me is predator trading. But that's going to come to an end. I've been saying that for some time, but it will come to an end. And I can't give you an exact date on it, but I think this is great news for the shareholders of the company, and I congratulate the shareholders that have bought and held, and because they're hanging on to a company that's done nothing but progress over the last year and a half.
And Larry, just newly announced as well, rolled out today, Tesla has now got a semi-trailer tractor that's battery operated. Can you imagine the amount of lithium and cobalt you would recover from a large vehicle like that?
Well, this is all a big plus for us. We're still focusing on the EV batteries, but what that does is it sucks up the supply a little more. And people don't even realize that the mining industry has battery-operated trucks up to 300-400 tons, and those are huge batteries too. So, and the maritime industry has got huge batteries to power ships. So, we talk about the EV market because that's where the focus is, and that's the type of battery we're going after. But the supply of batteries is going to require a huge supply of cathode materials, and that includes lithium and cobalt, which is in short supply.
Larry, for new listeners, can you explain what exactly American Manganese does?
American Manganese is a specialty mining explorationist, and we have holdings in manganese and cobalt and gold and rare earths. We also have a technology for taking very low grades of manganese and economically producing the metals and the dioxides from those manganese deposits at comparative prices to what it costs in China that are producing from 40 to 50% ores. We're talking 2 to 3% ores. That technology, thankfully, also works on the chemistries in the cathode battery. So, over 60 years of history in the development of our technology, and at least 10 years with us, we've reached a point now where we can reclaim 100% or recycle 100% of the cathode materials, which is going to reduce the amount of digging that's going to have to be done to get battery materials. And it's going to become very prominent. You start looking at the million batteries going to 5 million and 225, and those numbers out there, they may be optimistic or they may be conservative. We don't know. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of batteries that will be displayed to anybody that's in the recycling business. And just to close up, I'd like to say that you can find out any details on us at AmericanManganeseInc.com. And we are traded on the Venture Exchange under the symbol AMY.T, and on the U.S. Exchange under the symbol AMYZF, and then Frankfurt under the symbol 2M.
And how can people find out more information about American Manganese?
Well, they can go to the site, which I previously mentioned, or they can email me at lreaugh @amy.com, and that's LREAUGH @AMYMN.com. Or they can phone the office here and ask for me at 778-574-4444.
Larry, thanks for the update.
You're welcome, Jim.
My guest has been Larry Reaugh, CEO and President of American Manganese. I'm Jim Goddard. We were speaking on November 17th.
Comments made on Company Showcase are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at HowStreet.com. Company Showcase is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.